Hey guys, Dave here, and welcome back to another episode of FFBE War of the Visions. I know it's been a while since I posted my last content, and I apologize. However, the horrible raid that we have now took up a lot of my time, and I did pull on Laswell and go for the +5, so I needed to get that out of the way. Now that that's out of the way, we get like ninja news. So here's my ninja last minute review for little Leela and Rairyu. Now, yeah, and I talked about parroting the news. I'm not talking about the news. I'm talking about the characters in the news and doing a review on those. Okay, and I guess I could also briefly mention the vision card at the end because it's pretty darn good, and I'll explain why. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's take a look at little Leela and what she's all about. Okay, so before I explain Crazy Girl, I'm just going to explain what that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means. If you've watched any of my roadmap videos, I created 5 categories for 5 different categories of play. Number 1 is chainers, number 2 is farmers, number 3 is PvPers, number 4 is PvEers, and then number 5 is TMRs. Okay, TMR means it is a unit that you probably want to go after because it is a strong TMR. Okay, now having said that, she is going to be the best farming unit. Now, remember how I said the mathematician is by far the best so far? Well, this unit has the ninja sub-job, and she has a raise, which is it's different than Iludia's kit. Better in some ways, worse in some ways. However, she has ninja and she has higher agility, 9 on the board as well, in addition to 57. So I believe she's probably going to be at least 6 to 7 agility faster than the mathematician. I haven't calculated it all out yet. But she will surpass the mathematician in just flat out farming, assuming elements are not involved. Okay, the mathematician might be better if it's fire, obviously. This one better if it's, earth or something that fire is weak against, like, or some water is weak against, like lightning, for example. Okay, but other than that, yeah, great for PvP, PvE. I see a lot more potential in PvP with this unit over the mathematician. Again, elements aside, because the fact that you can put her in white mage and you can have a raise. She's going to be quick. She's going to be able to get that character back to life and heal like Ayaka's limit burst every turn. So I've seen some videos of her on JP performing with that, but not too many. Again, she just came out on JP and there's not a ton of content out for her yet as far as her capabilities, but I've been using the mathematician the past 4 months on JP. I've seen it perform in a lot of future content, PvP, etc. And having that raise, a raise, I think it is, or full life in English, I forget what it's called. It's absolutely amazing. Again, it's based on the faith of the unit you're trying to raise, but I usually take all my characters up to level 70 faith in the barracks so they can equip the bells and to get their status effects off. But that's just me. So that's done with the PvP category, and then let's take a look at her trust neck. All right, so we can see from her trust, it's a pretty good item, but it doesn't come without a weakness. So this is like the ultimate glass cannon magic user TMR. Okay, I'm pretty sure any unit can equip it. It's not limited like the next unit, and the key here is it has 5 agility and 8 evasion. So right there, it's going to be good for overall content for that agility. 8 evasion, so that's going to be good for PvP. In the next couple weeks, if it follows the JP schedule, with the release of the tower and the aqua ring, we should get the triple item bonus. They sure dragged their feet and taken their good old time and bringing that in the game, but that's also a power creep. But there's absolutely no excuse for the +5 thing. That should have been in day 1. So 80% magic up, 30 accuracy for 3 turns at the cost of 10% or 10 spirit and 10 defense. So, I mean, you win some, you lose some. But if you're trying to bomb, especially a unit like Mediana, adding extra agility and 80% more damage, can you even imagine how much the Cosmic Plume will hit for? That's going to be a guaranteed one-shot on a lot of units. So I see this as a very, very powerful trust. And it's not like Freyva's where it's only 1 turn. This is 3 turns, and it's 30 accuracy. So it's really, really good in my opinion. If I'm not sure yet if the unit's limited time or not, most likely limited time, but holy cow, that's a good TMR to go for. Like, oh my gosh, you keep talking this unit up. It's great, it's great, it's great. But just like the Mathematician, look at their hit points. I think she's a little bit lower than the Mathematician base. More agility, less hit points. And look at her attack resistances across the board. They're complete garbage except for magic, right? So the unit has to have some weakness, and that's where you see it. Now, when we move down to the status ailment resistances at the bottom, you can see for a mage being resistant to silence and disable. That's extremely powerful. Now, the Mathematician's immune to disable, but she also has confusion and paralyze, whereas this one has frog and silence. So I've had the Mathematician get silenced, and I've gotten bedazzled in some situations. So this has very powerful resistances. Aside from the bad element affinity, with Agrius, taking more damage from her, she's going to be pretty much immune to all of Agrius's abilities if you put a +5 ribbon on, or even a 5-star ribbon, because that will take care of all 3 of her status effects. So I see this unit being excellent for PvP and PvP, pretty much any event. And another thing I want to share, I'm going to make a separate video, but I wanted to get this out quickly before the characters. But I was able to do like a 2-shot full auto on the Behemoth with Mathematician teams. Now, I know, it's 2 times. If you want to be competitive, you have to 1-shot it. I understand that, but less effort, okay? I can, run, make some food, come back, and it's done, and I don't have to do anything. So I saw a number of those rooms. I jumped in, tried them. My best attempt with some people, we got down to 10% the first run. So if you have all whales with max vision cards and level 99 nerds, you can 1-shot Behemoth if you do it. You have to have the 2 highest agilities opposite from each other. But anyway, I'll save that for another video. But anyways, this unit has the Mathematician Holy, so she can chain with the Nerd, Ayaka, Yustola, Kirufe, etc. So I didn't put anything in for number 1 for chaining because it's not like that great of a chain. It's only a 1-shot, but it does do a lot of damage. And with the Chocobo card, without even having all max vision cards and all level 99s and a perfect platinum mace, I was able to hit 1 holy for about 9,600 damage. The 3rd in the chain, not even the 4th. So lots of potential in both PvP and PvE, pretty much across the board. So this is a really good unit. Now, job-wise, she's pretty much identical to the Mathematician in her main job, except you're going from water to wind. So nothing new there. With your white mage, you're looking at pretty much the same as Ayaka. Again, you have the full life. You have your Karuda, which is the high for 1, and then you have Karuda. I'm not sure what it is in English. I'm looking at the Japanese right now. I apologize. But it's the 2nd strongest one. So, that's really good there. And you have Shell and Protect, Asuna, and then you have regular Raise as well. So that's pretty good across the board. And then in your ninja tree, you're looking at Utsusemi, which is evasion. So that's good. If you can actually use her, since she's a ninja and she's fast, and her TMR has some on there too, and she has high luck, you can actually use her in a semi-evasive team, which you haven't really seen with many mages other than Mediana. So that's pretty cool too. You also have Kasetsu Jizai, which I forget what it's called in English, but increases your accuracy and gives you a guaranteed crit. So she's got a lot of cool different kits that you can play around with. I think the one of choice for most PvP situations is going to be, of course, the white mage having that full life at your disposal. That's just so powerful, especially like for a 2-rounder. Like I consider Ayaka like a 1-round PvPer. She's great in arena. She's great the first guild battle match, but she's usually blown her wad the first one, just like a Mediana. Mediana, is, in my opinion, is also a 1-rounder. Units like that. So being able to have that arrays and multiple heals like Ayaka's Limit Burst, multiple like long range, wide range spells, I think she's like a 2-round fighter. So not only is she going to be good for your arena, but also for guild battle and then all PvE events. So I know I blah, 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 blah. I like to talk, but yeah, hopefully that gives you some pretty good information on how the unit's going to function. So I think it's an absolutely great job set. I love to see ninja mages like Mediana and Saria and whatnot. So hopefully we see more of them in the future that are faster. So like for me, this is like a definitely go-getter unit. If you didn't pick up the Mathematician the first time, I would go after this unit. Now, and before I shut up, I'm just going to mention one more thing. This was like the unit of choice for the Golem raid. Now, I was suspecting that we wouldn't get a Halloween unit or we would get a global exclusive unit. So I was actually surprised that they bumped this 4 months forward. And the reason for that is she was made for a future raid. So they could shift the raid schedule or they could just do it as planned. But if you go for this unit also, not only are you going to have a very powerful unit, not only are you going to likely have that new master ability, but you'll be ready for that Golem raid in the future. Now, although it's a quirky item, it's really, really good for PvP missile resistance. Okay? And as far as the master ability in the news, it clearly listed that the Rairyu unit has the master ability. However, I looked over it multiple times, and unless only my info was bugged, I did not see her master ability listed, so they might still be adjusting that, since we have more wind units than earth units, but I don't know. Likely it's going to be the same. But either way, great unit overall. Okay, so if you have any more questions about this unit or maybe what I've seen on JP about the future raid, please ask in the comments below or on Discord, and I'd be more than happy to answer. So let's move on to the next unit. All right, so I know is a very popular gunner, Rairyu, and now he's back. And he's back as, I don't know, a zombie? He's doing like a zombie pose there, but he's got a skeleton shirt on, and he's got cloth hanging off like a mummy. So it tells me that, he doesn't know what he wants to be, and likely the developers don't either. But nevertheless, it looks like a very, very powerful unit, and I'll explain why. Okay. This is also a new job to global. Howlet, the Ladyboy unit, who's coming out 2 units from now if we follow this game schedule, Scar, then Howlet. And Howlet came out with Bikini Lilith. So we'll talk about that. Now, the Rune Knight, it's a magic-based class. If you take a look at his stats, you can see he has very high magic. 301 is actually very, very high. And he also has, magic-based slash damage. So the way that this class works, it's kind of like reivew, where it has a lot of killer on it. So this has a lot of lightning killer in the kit. So he has a big attack that's going to absorb hit points from the enemy and buff him for 1 turn, damage and whatnot. And then he has another couple attacks that just do very, very heavy damage. Now the Howlet unit I saw crit for 9999 on Kirufe in Arena, which is absolutely nuts. So this unit is Orlando's worst nightmare. Okay, literally. I expect units who equip him out properly are going to be easily one-shotting Orlando's and possibly even hitting for 9999, depending on how much faith they have on them. So let's take a look at the unit overall. Let's first take a look at the categories. Okay, so he's obviously not a farmer unit. Okay, but he's going to be good for PvP and PvE. because he has a very versatile kit. You can see he is Black Mage and Paladin, so he's going to be tanky. Now we'll talk about what skills he has in Paladin later. But his trust, number 5, holy cow. So this adds a new kind of factor into the game that I want to closely cover. Now, the stats on his TMR, they're nothing to write home about, right? They're pretty average. But the auto revive ability, this is basically the same as Guts, but you're technically like dying and then coming back to life. So Guts, I don't think you ever die, so you probably keep your buffs. This, I would assume you're going to lose your buffs, but then be re-raised, and then either have 10 to 20% based on the level of it. And now I put limited accessory. So it is an accessory, but it can only be equipped on magic units. So that includes your, like this Rune Knight. It includes like the Mathematician, and it includes like Black Mage and stuff like that. Can't remember if Red Mage is included. If you're interested, please check out the Calculator site or Ultima or something like that. But this has a lot of potential, especially for PvP. Now for this unit, in his Paladin, he already has Guts, so the likelihood that he's going to cast both in a row before he's killed or does another attack is very unlikely, but he has the possibility of doing being immune to death twice. So just having that potential or having the flexibility to do one or the other is amazing in my opinion. Now, the reason I want to talk about this trust is this units that previously, like Mediana, were like a super glass cannon, for example, like maybe she was too fast and then moved and then got killed before she could get off her limit break or a flare or a blizzaga. Well, guess what? If you put this on her and you can trick the AI into buffing her, I've never seen Mediana use a buff, but if for some reason she does use this, she goes in too fast or something happens not in your favor, Mediana gets revived, gets her Cosmic Plume off, or like another heavy hitting unit. So it adds a lot of potential. Even for Ayaka. Ayaka can equip this, right? So she gets killed, she comes back to life, she revives someone else who died. Again, very, very powerful. So again, it's only on magic users. It's a limited accessory. However, I see great potential in this. So, people on JP called it like a possible Jinken unit, which means human rights unit. It's a ridiculous name, but what it means is like a meta unit that everybody like wants to have. So is it as good as Ziza's TMR? No, I don't think so. It's not going to have as wide of a use, but for those magic units that can equip it, this is going to be a game changer, especially in PvP. So I just wanted to make that fully clear. It's a very, very strong trust. All right, and as far as Rairew's resistances, nothing super special here. Kind of like average, very weak against Fist. He did come out right after the Fist user on JP, and maybe it's kind of just to give him an advantage. I'm not quite sure. But hopefully we see more Fist users in the future other than just Naruto, on JP. Now his status ailment resistances, Sleep and Charm, I guess that's okay, but we don't see those as much in PvP. However, for PvE, Petrify, Sleep, and Charm are actually very common, especially Charm. We see that a lot with Thieves. Gumi loves to throw those in, so having a unit like this that cannot be charmed, I think is going to be very powerful. And the fact that he can also tank and whatnot, I think that's pretty cool too. And one of his abilities, like I said, he can absorb hit points back. And he's a decent speed. He's not super fast like Leela, but he's also not super slow. So he's kind of like middle of the road. So he can be like maybe like an off tank or something like that, or like a drain tank. So I think that's pretty cool. But this unit here, the Rune Knight job again, it's a very heavy damage dealing one if it works anything like the Howlet unit. So if you're interested in this unit, if you want to get revenge on every Orlando out there that has trolled you, especially now with the Coral Sword, this is the unit to go after. Now, again, I suspect both of these units to be limited time, but both of them, you know, even if the units aren't your favorite and whatnot, both of the trusts are really good, especially if you're competitive in PvP or guild battle. You're definitely going to want both of the trusts. The first one for being like super glass cannon for magic, if you're going like a magic route, and then the second one here for that revive ability. That's just going to be like insane. Like, you thought Ayaka might be difficult to take out sometimes now, like if you don't have a good ice unit that goes for her, well, guess what? Now she comes back to life and she raises the other person. So that's going to be really annoying. So I see great potential in both of these units. Alright guys, thanks again for watching. I hope you learned something new from this. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight for these units. Again, they just came out on JP, so I don't have a ton of information on them. I tried pulling for the Haloween unit, or actually I think I spent all my Vizier on JP on the last banner and I didn't have anything. But I wanted to pull for it. Oh, I pulled it all in the Fist unit instead of her. That's what it was, and I think I spent like 12k that I had saved up, and I didn't get him. It was unfortunate. But again, great units. If you want to know more information, please ask in the comments below. And again, open Discord server. Even as painful as the current raid was, we still had a bunch of active groups going, especially on like the first 3 days. Then it kind of died down because anyone who didn't really care about Laswell or just wasn't competitive really didn't care too much about this raid. And I don't blame them. But the fact that we've seen auto work on this one too, again, I'm going to make another video about that and actually show how it worked. So I thought that was pretty cool. Again, I'm going to end it here. Again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please comment, like, and subscribe. And I'm also going to be starting a new series called Tidbits. And in that series, I'm going to take little things in the game and explain how they work through verification videos. A couple I'm not 100% sure on. I'm kind of doing it for myself too. How Mediana's trust works, the Lunaverve. For example, the AP up. Well, AP up, it looks like you use it and you just get like 50 AP for free, but that's not how it works. And you certainly don't get 50 AP when using an ability. So there's some like hidden mechanic in there that they don't explain properly to you. So I'm going to show how that works. The other thing is how defense penetration works. So I have Oldoa's trust, and then I have Laswell. So we're going to use both of those against highly defensive units, and I'll explain how those work. So if there's any other little things in the game like that you would like to see how they work, if it's something I already know, I'll explain it to you in the comments. If not, I'll create video content so everybody can see how it works. Okay, so if you have any ideas for that or any questions, please also leave those in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at them. And if I just get so many requests, I'll choose whichever ones pop up the most. All right, so again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.